before we start, last time we had seen anthracene and glycosides, okay, and then we had solved few of the MCQs related to the same. So this time we are starting with the part of glycosides, which is cardiac glycosides. Unfortunately, last Wednesday live session did not happen because of some circumstances. But next Wednesday will be my last session in glycoside, and then we will start. We might start with some other subject for the life session. So stay tuned for the update. Okay, I am just sharing the screen of cardiac glycoside. Yes. So this is uh, cardiac. मतलब it's something related to heart. So what type of glycosides have good activity in the heart? That are the drugs that we are going to study under this class of compound. Okay. So let us start. Have a short introduction. मैंने थोड़ा सा तो बोला ही था. Cardinolide, Padainolide. तो ये सब तो I have already explained it to you all. Okay, तो उसका ही एक रिवीजन करेंगे वापस and let us start with it. So what are they? They are natural compounds with cardiac action, widely used in treatment of CHF, that is congestive heart failure. So chemically, the glycol part is a steroid moiety. Okay, like you can see here, either C23 or C24 steroid, because of either 5 or 6-membered lactone ring. Okay, so this is 5-membered lactone ring and this is 6-membered lactone ring. So either of these two, they are known as uh, because only because of this differentiation in the ring, they are known either as cardinolide or as butadiene. So the sugar part is attached to the linkage. Various types of sugars have been reported to be present in cardiac glycosides, such as glucose, glucose, rhamnose, digitoxose, thimerose, habitose, and digitase. Okay, so these are the name of different sugars that are present. Okay, so now when you study the structures, we say digitalose and thimerose, for example, have only a minor difference in the sugar structure. That is the placing of the hydroxy group and the hydrogen in the opposite end. Okay, so that minor differences will create these types of sugar. Okay, or maybe one carbon atom extra, one carbon atom less. Okay. So now under this cardiac glycoside, what is the thing that will possess cardiac activity? Of course, that would be your glycol. हमेशा कैसे ही होता है, ग्लाइकोन पार्ट होता है जिसमें एक्शन रहेगा, and glycone or the sugar part is there, which will be responsible for solubilization. Okay, or taking the taking it to the desired route of action. Okay, that is the function of the glycone part. So sugars will not potentiate the medicinal activity, but they are used in solubilization of glycol, thereby will beneficial in absorption and distribution in the body. At a time, 3 sugar molecules can be attached. Now, where the sugar molecules will be attached generally at the C3 position, where hydroxyl group is present. यहाँ पे. Okay, this position the sugar moiety will be present. Now it has been observed that increase in the hydroxy group on the glycine will lead to sugar onset of action and hence enhanced metabolism.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, your voice is breaking.
still it is breaking. I
Yes,
try.
ma'am.
Okay, okay. I will just try to reconnect with some other My voice is clear now. My voice clear now.
No, ma'am. Still breaking.
Still breaking because here I'm getting 600 words.
No, still breaking, ma'am.
Okay, I will recheck. Now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's clear.
Okay. Yes. So let's continue. We have seen about the glycone part of the till now I had just discussed about the glycone part of the steroidal ring that is present in the cardiac glycoside. Okay. So now there are two rings that we saw, right? One is cardinolide and other is bufadinolide. Now cardinolide is nothing but C23, whereas bufadinolide is nothing but C24 ring. So what is the difference? One is five-membered the lactone ring. Okay, that is the only difference. Now, when I say five-membered lactone ring, that means lactone will contain one double bond. If I say six-membered, that means lactone will contain two double bonds. Then when I say again five-membered lactone ring, where there is cardinolide attached is a steroid nucleus at C17 position. Okay, so here it is attached to a steroid nucleus at 17 beta position. What? The lactone ring. Okay, then one common thing is that attachment through a specific position to steroidal nucleus of the lactone is essential for proper activity. One, cardinolide occurrence is high. This is now out of this, this is cardinolide, the structure A, and this is the structure B, which is bufadinolide. Now, in this case, occurrence is high because when we study plants, we will see that majority of the plants will contain cardinolide, whereas bufadinolide is present is comparatively low. Families, Leguminosae, Strophylaceae, Cruciferae, Euphorbiaceae, etc. Whereas in this case, there are only two families, that is Liliaceae and Ranunculaceae. Then this is known as unsaturated butyrolactone ring, whereas this is known as pyrrole ring. Okay. Now here, this is digitalis, trophanthus, and thevisia, and this example for this drug is quid. Okay. Now bufadinolide, the word was derived from bufalin, which is obtained from skin of tortoise. Okay. Now there are four drugs under this. One is digitalis, other is quill, third is trophanthus, and fourth is thevisia. Okay. Now, when we start with the first drug, that is, let us see the first drug, that is nothing but digitalis. This is one of the major drugs. So when I say major, it does not mean that it is the only important drug, but it means that we are going to study the full pharmacognosy scheme related to this drug. Okay. Now, digitalis is also known as foxglove leaves, fairy gloves, or purple foxgloves. Biological source for digitalis is comprises of the dried leaves of digitalis purpurea belonging to family Scrophulariaceae. Now, the word purpurea has been derived from the purple colored flowers. Now, history in 1748, a French scientist named Salave made a strong criticism on use of digitalis, which led to withdrawal of the drug. But William Withering, he was a clever man. He carried out a detailed and elaborated studies on digitalis, due to which drug acquired its importance from 1785 onwards. Okay. Now, digitalis soil, what cultivation parameters it requires. So mostly this is grown at higher altitudes, okay, and in shady environment. And in actual practice, the sowing of seeds is performed in autumn, that is October to November, and seedlings are virtually transplanted in the fields in the following springs, that is March and April. So generally, the leaves are normally handpicked, okay, in afternoon during August, September, and in the first and second year when almost two-thirds of the flowers have been blown. Okay, then it is seen that highest percentage of glycosides are found into the first year, and discolored leaves are sorted out and rejected. Why are we looking here considering only about leaves? Because the desired plant part of the plant which has rich content of glycosides, it is nothing but the leaf. Okay. What is important here, that digitalis leaves are has to be, the trays are, they are stacked one above the other in the well closed dark containers, strictly at a temperature not about 60 degrees Celsius. Why? Because if the temperature goes more than 60, then potency of this leaves is lost due to degradation. Okay. And the activity of the leaves is due to glycosides. Presence of moisture and enzymes cause deterioration of glycosides. Description: color, it is dark grayish. Odor, it is light odor, bitter in taste. Okay. And shape is orate, lanceolate to broadly ovate. Chemical constituents, it contains 0.2 to 0.4% of both primary and secondary glycosides. Now, digitalis, studying this particular glycosidal thing, how it happens is very important. अगर ये समझ में आ गया ना, तो आगे का सारा drugs clear हो जाएगा. So I will explain this twice. You write it down, I would suggest. Okay, sit with a paper and pen and write it down. So clear हो जाएगा वो चीज. Okay, like if you see here, this is digitoxygenin. Okay, so ये जो digitoxygenin है ना, that is your glycol, the first glycol. Okay, when you add 3 molecules of digitox or sugar, it turns into digitoxin. Okay, and when you add one, so this is also this will be considered not a complete glycoside. Okay, because finally when you add one glucose molecule to it, it will turn to purpurea glycoside. Okay, so purpurea glycosides A and B, they both, and glucogitoloxin, they are the primary glycosides. Because of greater stability of secondary glycosides and lesser absorption of primary glycosides, see, these are secondary and this is the primary glycoside. A higher content of primary glycosides are not considered ideal and secondary glycosides are used. Okay, so secondary glycosides कौन से हैं? Digitoxin and getoxin. Okay, purpurea glycosides A and B are present in fresh leaves, and by their hydrolysis, digitoxin and glucose or gitoxin and glucose are obtained respectively. Hydrolysis of purpurea can take place by digipyridase enzyme present in the liver. Okay. So this इसका हाइड्रोलिसिस एंजाइमेटिक होगा और कौन सा एंजाइम रिस्पॉन्सिबल है यहाँ पे digipyridase. Okay, again I am saying this is your primary glycoside and digitoxin and gitoxin is your secondary glycoside, whereas digitoxygenin and gitoxygenin are the glycose. Okay, digitoxin yields on hydrolysis digitoxygenin and 3-digitoxose, that is what is given, and by hydrolysis of viridoxin, getaloxygenin and digitalose are obtained. Digitalis leaves also contains glycosides like odoroside H, getaloxin, viridoxin and glucoviridoxin. Viridoxin was found to potentiate the activity of digitoxin by synergism. Digitoxose and digitalose are deoxy sugars which are found only in cardiac glycoside and they answer Keller-Kiliani test. The important saponins include digitonin, tigonin, getonin, and luteolin. Is a flavone which is responsible for the color of the drug and it is also present in the leaves. तो यही जो मैंने explain किया ये structures के साथ यहाँ पे explain है. If you guys are sitting with a paper and pen, write a note that you will practice out the structures, or you can stop the video whenever you are seeing it again and just make sure that you draw the structures one. Trust me, the structures are very easy if you draw once. And for purpura glycoside का बड़ा सा structure 2 मिनट में याद हो जाएगा अगर सिर्फ जेनिन पार्ट याद है तो उसमें 3 मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ डिजिटॉक्सोस ऐड करना है एंड यहाँ पे अगर तुम एक ग्लूकोज ऐड कर दोगे ना तो वो बन जाएगा परप्यूरिया ग्लाइकोसाइड के. सिमिलरली अभी ये दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस है डिजिटॉक्सिन और जेटॉक्सिन में. So here there is a presence of OH. You can see here. Yeah. So this OH is absent in case of digitoxin. Okay. Then gitaloxin या gitaligenin में क्या डिफरेंस है यहाँ पे there is a presence of a aldehyde group OCHO. Okay. So इतना ही डिफरेंस है. तो बाकी तो entire structure is the same. Now what are the different chemical tests if I have to speak about? So apart from Keller-Kiliani, Legal and Baljet, which are the common tests for digitalis, there are some other tests that are performed like antimony trichloride. So in this solution of glycoside, add a solution of antimony trichloride and trichloroacetic acid and then heat the mixture for cardenolides and bufadienolides. The appearance of a blue or violet color shows its presence. Then there is a Caday's test. Okay, what happens? So this antimony trichloride is for bufadienolide and cardenolide both. Now, whereas Caday's test, where you mix equal volumes of 3,5-dinitrobenzoic acid and methanol and a 7.5% aqueous solution of KOH. A solution of glycosides is treated with a small amount of Caday's reagent. That is nothing but this. Okay, this is the Caday's reagent. Development of a blue or violet color, okay, violet or purple color that fades out in 1 to 2 years will show the presence of cardenolide. Then Raymond's test. In case of Raymond's test, you dissolve again a small amount of glycoside and add 1 ml of ethanol to it, okay, and a Raymond's reagent. Now, what is Raymond's reagent? It is metadinitrobenzene, okay, in alcohol. तो अगर यहाँ पे सब लोग यहाँ पे if you see no mostly dinitrobenzoic acid और dinitrobenzene is used. नाइट्रोजन क्यों यूज कर रहे हैं? Again, your color reaction, if you want, you use nitrogen, it will give a better color reaction. Okay, and then you add 2/3 drops or 2 to 3 drops of sodium hydroxide to it. Okay, so for activated methylene group that is present at C21 in the lactone ring, there will be appearance of a violet color showing slowly changing to blue, giving an affirmative test. But all these tests are only possible if and only if your glycoside is properly been isolated. Okay, easily been isolated or extracted. ओके तो पहले उसका हाइड्रोलिसिस अगर ठीक से हुआ है तो ही तुम्हारा जेनिन पार्ट बाहर निकलेगा, और जेनिन पार्ट अगर बाहर निकला देन ओनली विल बी एबल टू सी दिस टेस्ट पॉजिटिव. Now, what is the use of digitalis? Of course, we have seen in heart, but where exactly? What is the mechanism of action? So, it will enhance the force of contraction. It is not contradiction, it is contraction of heart muscle, while ultimately afford an increased cardiac output, decreased size of heart, decreased venous pressure, and above all, decreased blood volume. Hence, digitalis is vital cardiotonic in the management and control of different kinds of congestive heart failures, atrial flutter, atrial fibrillation, supraventricular tachycardia, and premature extrasystole. Digitalis will also block proton pump of the cardiac muscle so that intracellular concentration of sodium ions is increased. Thus, this will lead to increase in calcium ions, leading to more forceful contractions of myocardium, greater output, and complete emptying of heart. Now, what are the substituents to digitalis? So it is verbascum thapsus, which is also known as mullalin leaves, okay, which are covered with large woolly branch candelabra trichomes, okay. Candelabra trichomes are a type of trichomes, okay, like we have warty trichome, similarly in that. Then Primula vulgaris. This is in case of primrose leaves. Okay. Sympatum officinale comfrey leaves and Inula cornisa, plowman's pikeard. Okay. यहाँ पे सब leaves क्यों है? Because digitalis also we are going to put leaves only. So it is easy to adulterate it with leaves. Similarly, जैसे नॉर्मली अगर तुम लोग पुदीना या अभी सिंस लाइक इट्स अ सीजन एज वेल, तो पुदीना में बहुत बार धनिया आ जाता है ना, somewhat similar kind of that example you get. Okay, so this have how they can be distinguished also is mentioned here. Okay, so basically you need to remember these are the adulterants and substitutes of digitalis. Next is digitalis lanata. Now परप्यूरिया और लेनाटा में ओनली डिफरेंस इज द केमिकल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट, और वो भी केमिकल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट में भी there is a minor difference. Okay, but it will lead to difference in the action and use. Now this is dried leaves of digitalis lanata belonging to family Scrophulariaceae. So the word purpurea has been derived from the purple color of the leaves. So this is not with with respect to, this line is with respect to purpurea, and with respect to lanata, you just need to know that it it belongs to the genus or species of lanata. Okay. Now this will contain 5 primary glycosides. जैसे उसमें 3 था, यहाँ पे 5 है. Lantoside A, B, C, D, and E. It should be noted that the glycone digitoxose is acetylated and not the glycone. This is very, very important point. Okay, once MCQ has come onto this point, so you just mark it with red or write it down in bold that in case of lantosides, ये वापस और क्लियर जब होगा जब आई विल एक्सप्लेन टू यू दिस साइकिल. ओके, नाउ so before going to this point, let me explain to you first the cycle only. यहाँ पे क्या है, लैंटोसाइड A, B और C का स्ट्रक्चर्स दे हैव डिस्कस्ड. लैंटोसाइड A can be uh, can be made from purpurea glycoside A. How? You just have to acetylate the sugar that is present, digitoxose sugar. So then it will give you lantoside. Okay. Now if I have to see here, this is a digitoxygenil. Okay, just one second. So this will contain 5 primary what I was telling you is lantoside A, when you acetylate it, it will form purpurea glycoside A. तो पर्प्यूरिया ग्लाइकोसाइड ए कहाँ से मिला था? तो डिजिटॉक्सिन से. एंड डिजिटॉक्सिन कहाँ से आया था? डिजिटॉक्सीजेनिन से. नाउ व्हाट वाज द डिफरेंस? मैं याद दिलाती हूँ. यहाँ पे when you add 3 molecules of digitoxose, then it will form digitoxin. Digitoxin में when you add 1 molecule of glucose, then it will form purpurea glycoside A. But when you have that 1 molecule of digitoxose with an acetyl group, then it will form lantoside A. इतना ही है. ओके, सिमिलरली बी और सी के लिए सेम है. जैसे जिटॉक्सिन था और जिटालॉक्सिन था, वही है. सेम सेम प्रोसीजर इट इज. ओके, no, here it is digoxin. Okay, digoxygenin. वहां पे जिटालॉक्सिन था और प्यूरिया ग्लाइकोसाइड सी में. ओके, here it is digoxygenin. Okay, now what is this 1, 2 and 3? It is alkaline hydrolysis. When you have to lose a acetyl moiety, यहाँ पे acetyl को निकालना है ना, क्योंकि पर्प्यूरिया ग्लाइकोसाइड ए चाहिए, तो वहां पे अल्कलाइन हाइड्रोलिसिस होगा. ओके, सेकेंड में जहां पे हमें एक ग्लूकोज मॉलिक्यूल निकालना है, वहां पे एंजाइमेटिक ग्लाइकोसाइड हाइड्रोलिसिस होगा. तो ये कौन सा एंजाइम यूज करेंगे यहाँ पे? डीजी प्यूरिडेज. ओके, डीजी प्यूरिडेज एंजाइम यूज होगा. एंड थर्ड, जहाँ पे 3 मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ डिजिटॉक्सोज निकालना है, वहां पे एसिड हाइड्रोलिसिस हो. ओके, so remember this is alkaline hydrolysis, enzymatic hydrolysis and acid hydrolysis. Okay, and इसलिए acid hydrolysis is very important when you want finally the genin part and you want to check or test the qualitative test you want to apply to your extract. Okay, तो अगेन वहां पे यहाँ पे ये पॉइंट नाउ आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू. यहाँ पे कहीं पे अग्लाइकोन पार्ट को कुछ हो रहा है, डिजिटॉक्सीजेनिन या जिटॉक्सीजेनिन या डिगॉक्सीजेनिन नहीं. डिजिटॉक्सो शुगर को हो रहा है, वो एसिलाइट हो रहा है, एसिटाइलेट हो रहा है, एंड दैट इज ओनली मेंशन्ड हियर. So this is more potent than purpurea and it is used as a source for manufacture of digoxin. Then about European squill, that is the next drug we are going to start with. Okay, now European squill, it consists of sliced and dried scaly leaves from the bulbs of Erginia marittima belonging to family Liliaceae. So normally these are white squill which yields fully grown and healthy bulbs that have a height ranging between 18 to 20 centimeter and a diameter varying between 12 to 15 centimeter. So squills, uh, the Indian squills, if I have to tell you, they are also known as जंगली प्याज. यहाँ पे हम यूरोपियन squills पढ़ रहे हैं, ठीक है. And generally they are collected in late August and during the flowering season, while the central fleshy bulbs are collected separately. These bulbs are then cut into transverse slices and subsequently dried either in sun rays or by artificial devices. Just make a note, this is Erginia, Urginea. Okay, Erginia marittima. Now squill, it also consists of cardiac glycosides of bufadienolide type like celerin A, where 2/3 of the entire glycoside, and B, and enzyme celatinase. Okay, now the cardiac glycoside, that is glucoselerin A, on hydrolysis will give 3 sugar molecules, out of which 2 molecules is of glucose and 1 molecule is of rhamnose along with celaranin. Other constituents that are present are glucoselerin A, okay, proceleridine A, flavonoid, mucilage, volatile substances, and sinisterine, which is a carbohydrate similar to inulin. Then the glycone is called as celaridine A or celaranin A. Celarin A is crystalline and is responsible for the activity of the drug. Okay, let me explain to you this first in here, then you will understand this more clearly. Okay, see, understand one thing. सबसे पहले है ग्लूकोसिलरिन ए. ओके, अपना जो ग्लाइकोसाइड है वो है सिलरिन ए. अभी अगेन दिस इज अ ब्यूफाडाइनोलाइट टाइप, तो यहाँ पे रिंग दिख रहा है, ब्यूफाडाइनोलाइड, कार्डिनोलाइड नहीं है, ब्यूफाडाइनोलाइड ड्रिंक, ठीक है। अभी ग्लूकोसिलेरिन मतलब क्या, दो ग्लूकोज है, एक रैमनोज है और एक सिलारेनिन है, तो तीन मॉलिक्यूल्स है। सिलेरिन ए में से एक ग्लूकोज निकल गया, इसीलिए वो सिलेरिन ए, और यही अपना मेजर कार्डियक ग्लाइकोसाइड है, तो यहाँ से एक ग्लूकोज निकल गया। अभी फ्लोसिलेरिन ए में से और एक ग्लूकोज निकल गया, सिर्फ रैमनोज बचा, तो सिलारेनिन ए जो है, ओके, दैट इज हियर अवर ग्लाइकोन पार्ट। याद क्या रखना है, सिलरेनिन ए इज अवर रेनिन, हाँ, रेन, सिर्फ रेन बोला तो इट इज ग्लाइकोसाइड, रेनिन बोला तो इट इज द ग्लाइक, ठीक है, वही यहाँ पे लिखा है। एंड सिलरिन ए इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द एक्टिविटी ऑफ द ड्रग. Silerin B is amorphous and its exact chemical structure is not known. Okay. On hydrolysis, it will yield prosileridine A and glucose, जो यहाँ पे दिया है, and further acid hydrolysis will yield a glycone silarenin A and rhamnose. Okay. Now, if silerin A, मतलब ये वाला जो part है, if it is hydrolyzed directly, okay, with acid, okay, then it will yield silarenin A and an intermediary disaccharide, which is silabiose. So silabiose is nothing but glucose plus rhamnose, okay. तो इसका अगर डायरेक्ट हाइड्रोलिसिस हुआ ना, तो सिलारेनिन ए प्लस एक डाइसैकेराइड मिलेगा, विच इज सिलाबायोस। वापस एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ, डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज, थोड़ा रिपीट आराम से करती हूँ। सिलरिन ए जो है उसको डायरेक्ट हाइड्रोलाइज किया, तो सिलारेनिन ए और एक डाइसैकेराइड मिलेगा, which will have rhamnose and glucose together attached, which is named as silabiose. Okay, and this silabiose on hydrolysis will yield glucose and rhamnose. Now when you see the microscopy of the squill bulb, तो acicular crystals तो पढ़ा ही होगा तुम लोग ने calcium oxalate के time, if you have studied squill, that it has a very good acicular calcium oxalate crystals that are present. Okay, then there is a mesophyll region, sorry, then and an epidermis that is present, then there will be vascular bundles also present. Bulb है ना, तो एकदम बीच में दिखेगा ये vascular bundles. Okay, now this will show negative legal and Balzard test. Lieberman's sterol test is positive in case of squill glycoside. It is again a cardiotonic used in chronic bronchitis as an expectorant in small doses, while higher doses will cause vomiting. It is a potential substitute for foxglove in aiding a failing heart. Now looking at Indian squill or jungli प्याज जो मैं बोल रही थी, or it is also known as sea onion. Okay, so this is Erginia indica belonging to family Liliaceae. Mucilate stains reddish purple with iodine water, whereas European squill does not. Colorin solution stains mesophyll region red. Now, commercial samples of Indian squill many times contain Scylla hyacinthina. Okay, this is the adulterant to it. अगर यहाँ पे देखोगे तो अगेन सेम साइकिल जो मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया ना वहां पे, दैट इज देयर. वन मोर टाइम आई विल एक्सप्लेन. सिलरिन ए अगर एसिड हाइड्रोलिसिस होगा तो क्या देगा, सिलरिडीन ए प्लस सिलाबायोस. ओके, फर्दर उसका हाइड्रोलिसिस विल गिव यू ग्लूकोज प्लस रैमोस. बट अगर एंजाइमेटिक हाइड्रोलिसिस होगा इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ सिलरेनेस, तो इट विल फर्स्ट गिव प्रोसिलरिडीन ए and glucose, and prosileridine A further will give you sileridine A and rhabnose. Okay, trophanthus, which is one of the drug of this class. Okay, trophanthus is also known as arrow poison. Okay, which consists of a dried ripe seeds of Strophanthus pombe or Strophanthus hispidus belonging to family Apocynaceae. Now this ripe fruit consists of two fully developed follicles, each about 30 centimeters broad, with tapering at both the ends. Okay, earns क्या होता है guys? गेहूं का छिलका देखा है ना? Somewhat similar thing. That is nothing but earns. These ripe fruits are collected from the wild plants. Seeds are subsequently separated and they are freed from the earns. Okay. Now on treating this with 80% of sulfuric acid, the endosperm will exhibit a deep emerald green color. Major chemical constituent are mixture of glycosides called K-strophanthine. It contains K-strophanthoside, K-strophanthide beta, and cymarin, which on hydrolysis will yield same glycone strophanthidine. Okay. Now strophanthoside on hydrolysis will give K-strophanthidine along with three sugars of cymarose, alpha and beta glucose. This contains a sugar cymarose, which is methoxydigitoxose, which gives positive reaction with Keller-Kiliani test. Drug also contains mucilage, resin, fixed oil, choline, trigonalin, and formic acid and saponin. So mainly this is the structure of strophanthidine, which is the glycone, and it mainly the drug is used as a source of K-strophanthine, and in case of chronic heart disease. Last drug from the class of cardiac glycosides, which is nothing but Thavacia, also known as yellow oleander, trumpet flower, or lucky nut. Now, these are nothing but dried seeds of Thavacia peruviana or Thavacia nerifolia belonging to family Apocynaceae. Now, the seeds are very bitter. When chewed, it produces numbness, and they are green to greenish black in color. Thavacia, they are very rich in cardiac glycosides or cardioactive glycosides, and the glycone of this glycosides is a combination with three sugar units. Thavatin, which is the major active constituent, is a mixture of triosides, thavatin A and thavatin B, cerebroside. Monoscides, which are separated from Thavacia, are neripolin, perovoside, perovosidic acid. Perovoside, it shows a quick action with well absorption and tolerance. An enzymatic conversion of perovoside and neripolin will give digoxin. So this is the structure of thavatin A, which is one of the major cardioactive glycosides. And it is used as cathartic, emetic, and seeds are abortifacient. Perovoside is used in treatment of mild cardiac insufficiency and weak heart. So here we come to end of cardiac glycosides. Next, let us start with saponin glycosides. Okay, what are they? Just a second, I'm sharing the screen. So under saponin glycosides, सबसे पहले saponin मतलब क्या? It is nothing but soap form. ठीक है? It does not mean that they are glycosides that will, sorry, not soap forming, I will say it will have a soap like action. Okay, it does not mean soap forming glycoside, but it means simply that will have the action of a soap. Okay, soap like. That is nothing but saponin. So as the name indicates, a glycone part of this glycoside will have soap like action. Okay, Abhi, they are generally considered as what? Hemotoxis, toxic, because they cause hemolysis of erythrocytes, and due to this activity some of them are used as fish poison. These saponins have bitter and acrid taste, and they cause irritation of mucous membrane. They also form complexes with cholesterol and have antibiotic properties. They are mostly non-crystalline substances soluble in water and alcohol, but insoluble in polar organic solvent. So chemically, they will contain an glycone, which is called as sapogenin. Okay. So if you see यहाँ पे जैसे कार्डियक में हमने ब्यूफाडाइनोलाइट और कार्डिनोलाइट पढ़ा, वैसे saponin if you see there is one is tetracyclic and another is pentacyclic triterpene. Okay, so tetracyclic are also known as steroidal saponin. Okay, pentacyclic whereas will be 5-membered ring. Okay, they are high molecular weight compounds which by acetylation will give crystalline form. The harmful sapogenins are also called as sapotoxins. So depending on the nature of the glycol, saponins will be categorized into two groups. जैसे steroidal या tetracyclic triterpenoids and दूसरा is the pentacyclic triterpenoids. Now both these types of glycols, they are linked with different types of sugars and uronic acids. Okay. Steroidal saponins are used as raw material to the synthesis of various steroids like vitamin D, cardiac glycosides, corticoids, sex hormones like progesterone, testosterone, estradiol, oral contraceptives, and spironolactone, which is a diuretic steroid. Whereas steroidal saponins like diogenin and hicogenin can be considered as a representative example of this group of saponins. Okay. Now in dicots, sources will be Leguminosae, Solanaceae, Apocynaceae, whereas monocots will have Liliaceae, Amaryllidaceae and Diascoraceae. Okay. अभी ये दो जो type of plants है, which they will both dicot and monocot both will have your saponin glycoside. Okay. Steroidal saponins will be used as a raw material for your corticosteroids kind of hormones. Okay. Whereas pentacyclic, if I have to speak about, they are further differentiated into three classes. Like you can see here, alpha myrin, beta myrin ring, and the luteol class. Okay. Again, इसका structures थोड़ा सा complex है, I agree. So you will have to practice them. Okay. Important derivative of this group is a triterpenoidal acid. Okay, triterpenoidal saponins क्यों बोल रहे हैं? सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन वो आना चाहिए. So terpenoids is we have seen triterpenoids is something that will have C30 carbon atom. So saponins have been reported to possess this blood purifying and abortion causing properties and helmintic effects, sedative properties, and antispasmodic effects. Okay. So if you look at the ring, you will have to practice it. Okay, then only you'll be able to clearly differentiate this ring. Now there are 5 drugs: Diasphoria, Brahmi, Ginseng, Licorice, and Tulaja. We will study today only 2 drugs out of this. Next, or 2 or 3, let us see, and then rest of the drugs we will see in the next class. So first drug is Diascoria, which is nothing but dried rhizome or tubers of several species of Diascoria like Villosa, Praseri, Composite, Spiculifuloria, Deltoida, Floribunda, all belonging to family Diasporiaceae. Okay, it is known as yam or rheumatism root. It's a perennial climber growing to 3 meters. Plant refers to acid, neutral, and alkaline soils. It can grow in shade or semi-shade. Requires moist soil. Can be cultivated in 3 methods: by sowing seeds or stem cuttings or by tubercles. Okay. No major, and generally it is cultivated in the seasons of March to April. No major pests are reported in case of diasporia, which is a good thing. And rhizomes, see this, if you see, we are going to choose the rhizome part. Okay, the rhizome part ka macroscopy microscopy automatically different hoga, that we will see ahead. But one important thing is it does not have any pest on it. Okay, now if I have to learn about the microscopy of this drug, Then it will have same epidermis, core, which is made up of few layers. Then the major part of the drug is occupied by a steam, and it consists of collateral type of fibrovascular bundles. Drug has indistinguishable endodermis and pericycle. Chemical constituents में it will have diosgenin, which is a steroidal sapogenin, and its glycoside phylagenin, episphylagenin, and beta isomer yamogenin. Okay. Then it also contains sapogenase, which is an especially a rhizome, phenolic compound, and starch. Diosgenin is hydrolytic product of saponin, diosine. Tubers are also rich in glycosides and phenolic compounds. Now, this is a main source of diosgenin, widely used in modern medicine in order to manufacture progesterone and other steroidal drugs. They are used as contraceptives and in treatment of various disorders of the genitourinary organs, as well as in a host of other diseases such as asthma and arthritis. Okay. Now, this is the structure of diosgenin and smilagenin. Next is Brahmi. Now, Brahmi is actually a very staple, or the fruits of Brahmi are found in Indonesia a lot. Okay, they are also known as mangosteen fruit. Okay, consist of fresh leaves and stems of the plant known as Bacopa monari, herpestris monari, belonging to family Scrophulariaceae. Okay, now these leaves are fleshy, obovate, alternate, sessile, and their lower surface is dotted. Flowers are solitary, stalked, and bluish white in color. Capsules are ovoid, seeds, and minute in numerous. Major chemical constituents are alkaloids bromine, herpestin, and they are mixture of three alkaloids. This contains saponin, namely bacoside A and B, which on acid hydrolysis give rise to triterpenoidal glycone termed as bacogenin A and B respectively. Additionally, it will also contain betulic acid, sigmasterol, and herceptin. Now, this Brahmi is basically used in treatment of insanity and epilepsy, and it is also employed as a potent nerve tonic, cardiotonic, and diuretic. Mostly, it is used in treatment of asthma and as a mild laxative. Last drug that we see for today's session is ginseng, okay, which consists of dried roots of Panax ginseng. Now, if you have a look, इसके बहुत सारे biological sources है, and that is depending on the geographical source. Like Panax ginseng is Korean ginseng, Panax japonicus is Japanese ginseng, Panax pseudo ginseng is Himalayan, and Panax frugivorous is American ginseng, all belonging to family Aralaceae. Okay. Now, white and red ginseng में क्या difference है? White is obtained by removing the outer layers of the roots, whereas red is obtained by first subjecting these roots to stoning, and after that they are dried in artificial environment between 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. The two types of roots are subsequently graded and packed. They are tuberous, corpulent fruits, yellowish brown or red in color depending on type. They are translucent and they possess stem scars. Major chemical constituents are complex mixture of triterpenoidal saponins, which may be either a steroidal triterpene or a pentacyclic related to oleanolic acid. They are classified as ginsenosides, panaxosides, and chikusetsu saponins. Now, ginsenosides is one of the major saponins that have been isolated and identified in ginseng. In all, there are 13 out ginsenosides that have been isolated. And interestingly, out of this, panaxodiol, triol, rather panoxosides, when it undergoes decomposition, it will give this oleanolic acid, panaxodiol, and panaxotriol. Now, where ginseng का बहुत नाम सुना था when during COVID. Okay, it acts as a very good immunomodulator, and plus it is used in treatment of variety of ailments. It acts as stimulant, diuretic, and it has a very good adaptogenic, that is anti-stress properties, which is found to exert positive action on metabolism, endocrine system and CNS. तो बहुत stress में थे ना लोग कोविड के टाइम पे, so this acts as a very good adaptogenic or anti-stress, or to relieve the negative forces, I will say. Okay, and it is found to have natural resistance and increase the ability to overcome both exhaustion or illness to a great extent. It also prolongs the life of elderly person and cures giddiness in diabetic patients. Okay, so we will stop here today. Okay, next class we will complete up licorice and one more drug of saponins, glycosides, and we will see few miscellaneous glycosides. Also, we will be discussing variety of MCQs that can come under this particular tag of glycoside. Okay, so next Wednesday, stay tuned. We will finish this chapter, and majorly we are going to solve MCQs. Also, I will be discussing biosynthesis of glycoside. Okay, thank you everyone.